So I don't know how legitimate this is, but there is a case that has been posted on Reddit about a toddler not being able to buy alcohol. Yeah, that's right. A toddler, 23-month-old, could not buy alcohol. And this is why we can't see our little ones get drunk. No, no, that's not the case here. Of course it is. Of course that's what's happened here. This Redditor took to Reddit. They posted it in the Ontario subreddit for a situation where he was in a grocery store, liquor store, whatever it was. He had picked up a case, placed it in his cart. His 23-month-old toddler was sitting in the seat of the cart, and the cashier refused to sell them the case of cider he put in his cart because the toddler touched the box. This was something that literally came across my Facebook. I was like just scrolling one day and I was like, Ontario shopper denied alcohol sale after toddler touches it in a wild case of rule adherence. This is one of those stories that probably should have gotten a lot more info on it. Now, the Reddit post has since been removed, but we can still see the comments, and the comments are absolutely everywhere on this, and they're countless. Like, the comments are countless. Sorry, this post has been deleted by the person who originally posted it, which is unfortunate because I think it was a decent post. They did have an edit in the post originally because they were saying that the cashier was getting hated on, even though he doesn't name the cashier, he doesn't name where it was, he doesn't, you know, like, they were saying this cashier is doing the wrong thing, and that's exactly what it is. So a resident of Ontario is cautioning other customers about province's strict rules for alcohol sales after a grocery store cashier told him he couldn't purchase their adult beverages because their toddler sitting in the cart had technically touched them. Now, generally in a liquor store, you cannot go, you can walk in there with your kid. You can walk in there and just walk around, and ultimately you're not going to buy alcohol for your kid. You're buying it for yourself. This is a 23-month-old toddler, right? So one that doesn't even concept the idea of alcohol. I understand the laws in this case where you've got to be 18, 19, I believe in Ontario, to buy alcohol. And the cashier using their discretion saying, no, he touched it. He's in proximity of it. He owns that. And so thus I cannot sell you this. He's not allowed to own it. He's not allowed to be purchasing this, but he's not. The embarrassed shopper took to Reddit to share their story on Sunday, said that their 23-month-old son was sitting in the car seat fidgeting with various items. Like, that's what it is, in the cart seat. Like, we place all the groceries at the bottom of the cart because he will touch and throw things out. Picked up the case of cider and he touched the box, too heavy for him to throw, and the cashier told me they can't sell it, they wrote. I understand if they were of the age that might drink it, but an obvious toddler, yeah, like, if this is a teenager that's not sitting in the cart, that's just kind of there, you know, a teenager walking around, yeah, I can understand the cashier saying, no, 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 we're not going to sell you this because we think you're buying this for your teenager, even though it's up to the parents' discretion at this point. And I think the parents have a little bit more say in the matter. While all Ontarians should be well aware of the province's legal drinking age and the fact that it's illegal to buy for minors, some may not know that while browsing for booze, they must ensure that if they are with anyone underage, that individual does not directly handle the product at any point. They didn't handle the product. They literally just reached out and touched it. They touched a Mars bar. Apparently, I can't sell you that anymore. Common sense is being thrown out the window in this country, and it's absolutely appalling to see where it's going. Growing up, my mom used to take me into the liquor store a lot. It was a occurrence that happened, and it was something where I just kind of sat there, pulled my hands back, and didn't touch anything because I didn't want to touch anything. And it was very strange in a lot of ways to be in a liquor store when you're underage. When it comes to alcohol and drinks at supermarkets, retail owners can establish their own additional rules to ensure that beer and wine is sold responsibly in order to comply with regulatory requirements, according to the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario. I am here in Alberta. We don't have grocery stores where you can buy alcohol in. They are trying to do that. There was some 7-Elevens that they were talking about converting as a convenience store, alcohol store. But generally, alcohol stores, this includes cannabis stores as well, are all separated from groceries. They're separate entities. They are regulated that way, and they are not, you're not able to walk into a store. Most states, you can walk into a store, you can buy a bottle, and you can, in some, you can buy a firearm to go with it. But here in Canada, we don't have that. Everything is separated in that sense. There has to be a wall of separation, an actual physical store where you exit and go in through its own entrance. We even have Costco's up here that sell alcohol, but the alcohol, you don't need a membership to go buy at Costco. So generally, you don't see the savings at the Costco liquor stores unless you're buying in large quantities. Now, looking at some of these comments, it's pretty funny. So just got denied sale of alcohol at grocery store. Their username is deleted. This post is deleted. It's in Ontario. You should have just left your child in the hot car so you don't have to be criticized for buying booze. That's right, folks. You've now got to leave your child in your hot car if you want to go in and buy a bottle of alcohol. Let's think here. Which is better, especially in the middle of summer? Just ridiculous. War on drugs nonsense. I'm 75. I forgot my driver's license, and money wouldn't sell me beer. I wish the government would enforce things a lot more important. This guy's 75 and they refuse to sell him alcohol because he didn't have his driver's license on him. Like, did he go in with a walker? Like, what the hell? I used to work for LCBO when I was a student, and we had to take it pretty seriously. We got secret shopped all the time, and our management was always on us to follow the rules. They also had a policy of always backing up the cashier for denying a sale, and followed through with my experience. So that's where there was no excuse for us not to follow every rule to the letter. Plus, there's a threat of huge fines for legally selling alcohol. Any judge that's going to give you a fine for selling alcohol because a toddler is sitting in a cart will throw it out of court. That type of fine doesn't hold any weight. The judge would look at that and laugh it out of court. It would be laughed out of court. Seriously. I personally was in a situation where I had to deny the sale for the same reason, except they were 16. Here's the difference. They were 16, not 23 months. 16-year-old carrying a case of Black Fly up while her mom had a cart full of expensive wine. When the mom tried to pay for everything, I asked for ID for the daughter. The mom and daughter argued, but obviously I had to deny the sale of the Black Fly. The situation I was in was a little bit more obvious in why that rule is in place. Yes, your situation is a hell of a lot more obvious, but that rule is not in place for a 23-month-old. There's common sense here, and the common sense was thrown out the window over a rule that you're trying to say that they cannot just even touch the side of a box. If that's the case, then just don't take your kid to the liquor store. There's a lot of breakables in there. Imagine a toddler that's running loose in a liquor store and they knock over like 20 bottles of wine. That's a scenario I don't want to contend with. That's expensive, and it's something I don't want to deal with. A 23-month-old baby cannot sit in a car by themselves. They can't sit there while you run in and do these things. Like, you're stuck as a parent, and it's absolutely ridiculous to hear that the common sense got thrown out the window in this case. No fine would be held up in a court of law. If a judge held that up, you would have to appeal it and go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court would laugh it out. This is laughable. This would be laughed out of court, and these type of things that get laughed out of court, they don't go far in the justice. They don't do anything. Well, I rant and raved enough about a 23-year-old toddler not being able to buy alcohol. What are your guys' thoughts on this one? I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix Cinder Shadow, signing off here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you again next time.